And welcome back to Regina 120. I'm Jeff Cliff, and this is a series of 120 videos of things that I learned at the University of Regina as part of a computer science degree. And today we're going to be talking about certain kinds of questions. Questions where it's not possible to answer them. And not because you don't know the answer, or not because it's really hard to find the answer, but because the question itself is broken. And that the person asking the question perhaps has sent this question to you in bad faith or something of that nature. So the kind of quintessential question of this form is if you're in a relationship and your significant other asks you, does this outfit make me look fat? Of course, the answer to that can't be yes, because then you're telling your significant other that they look yes, or that they look fat. And that would get them to be unhappy with you. And you can't say no, because then you would be lying. And that the reason that they're asking you that is because they think that it does, and if you say no, then you're not being trustworthy, etc., etc. So you really cannot answer this, and you have no way of getting out of it. There's a way of resolving this problem that comes from a Zen koan, where some monk asked another monk, what is, or does this dog have the Buddha nature? And his response to that was mu, or mu. And that is the kind of standard answer ever since for questions without answers. This mu, mu, where you're basically faced with a question, and your answer to that question is not yes, is not no, it is not some number, it is mu. It means this question has no answer, or ask me another question, or this is a stupid question, I don't feel like answering it, or something of that kind. So if you're asked, does this outfit make me look fat, your answer should be mu. If you are asked, is this dress blue and black or white and gold, and you already understand the perceptual issues that might crystallize your perception on one or the other options, your answer should be mu. If you have a question that is a loaded question sent to you, like when did you stop beating your wife, your answer should not be anything other than mu. So this is a useful answer. It's nice and short and sweet, easy to remember, one syllable, very useful thing. And so this is, as other things we've talked about in this series, related to some of the other videos we've talked about. So it's related to the four-term fallacy. As we kind of discussed in the examples in the four terms and the, I guess, theoretical 5 or 6-term logical fallacies, or logical syllogisms, is that you can construct these kind of arguments, or you can construct these questions with multiple terms in them such that you can't actually conclude anything validly from them. They're just meaningless things, and if you're forced to respond to that, whether or not it's valid, your answer could very well be mu. It's related to the Euthydemus video. As you remember, the question was, do you beat your father? Although logically he made a very compelling case that the person in question was beating his father, of course the real answer to the question should have been mu. Of course, mu wouldn't be discovered for another couple of hundred years, I think, but it doesn't matter. It's just the way you could answer that situation. This is related to epistemology because it's kind of showing us a way to approach things where we don't know the answer to, or that we know that the entire frame of the question is wrong, where we can't express knowledge over that something, and we can't express the absence of knowledge perhaps, or we can't express negative knowledge, so there has to be some kind of a middle case, of which this is kind of an example. It's related to Bayes, and the reason was, and we can get into this a little bit more when we get into the actual Bayes' rule, but I really wish I could find the term for it, because I used to know the term for it. I think I even mentioned it in my 10 Ideas 50 Years video. But there is a term for when you have a multiple, I guess, choice. So this is also going to be related to the multiple choice video. there's the normal Bayes prior is, as mentioned in the Bayes video, to split the probability among the options available. So in this case, we have 100% divided by 3 options. So you could split the probability among these 3 options as part of your prior belief without observing anything about them into 1 over 3. And there's another kind of prior, I think it's the Laplace something prior, I'm not sure, where you basically construct a dummy option which corresponds to none of the above, and then distribute your probability among them. And so in practice, you'll only ever act on these 3. But this just kind of soaks up the extra probability so that you can know whether your model of the situation is right. And so going back to the multiple choice video, you can flip this around and kind of view this as a imperative in terms of if you're ever designing a multiple choice test, or if you're ever designing a user interface, you always want to leave, at least as much as possible, an option for none of the above. And so if you're asking the user for information and it's a multiple choice issue, give them the option to enter something in that you're not expecting. If you're trying to get the user to give you information, always leave it open, or always leave open the option for them to feed in things that you aren't expecting, or to be more capable of getting information that you can't deal with, even if you have to present it back to the user and say, okay, well, we don't support this yet. Maybe note down somewhere that the user tried to do this 4th option, and then kind of go from there. But the important thing here is that there's a lot of situations where our understanding of the whole situation is incomplete, where we are faced choosing between things that are impossible to choose between, where the question posed to us has no answer, and that if there is an answer to questions like it, it would have to be changed so that that kind of answer is permittable. In short, beware of limits on your ability to choose between things, especially when posing questions. If you don't know, or if you suspect that the question itself is broken, just answer with mu. As usual, there should be a place to post comments where you can, I guess, pose unanswerable questions. Feel free to do so. And as usual, there should be a Bitcoin donation address where you can send and fund our whiteboard marker supply. As usual, we'll see you next video.